Hi, I'm thrilled to be here with Karen Moxom, CEO, Director of the Association for NLP. And for those people who don't know about Neuro-Linguistic Programming, what is it? We've got the thing, it's something to do with the mind, something to do with language, and something to do with programming, I guess the habits that we have. Tell us a little bit about what is it in layman's terms?
Summarised it in a nutshell. No, I do think it is. It's about NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's about using the brain and the language and how you program your own responses. It's really a bit of a user's manual to the mind, right. I think, not from a biological perspective. And it's very much about understanding and empowering yourself to understand that your thoughts are under your control. I think that's very empowering.
God, yeah, so it's just about actually helping people. Lots of people feel as though their minds are all over the place, but actually just helping them to have a healthier relationship with what they think and so on, and that hopefully helps them change kind of those habits or be aware of what they're doing and work with their mind as opposed to...
It's a self-awareness, it really is. It's a self-awareness. It could be treated as a philosophy for life. There are some very sensible strategies in it, very sensible techniques and things like that you can learn that just empower you to do more of what you do well.
And presumably it's related to lots of other fields in this whole personal development and professional development world, like coaching and so on, all part of a broader family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's another tool for the toolbox. You know, sometimes we find ourselves in situations where you need to be able to draw on extra resources, and NLP can definitely be one of those resources that you can draw upon in a lot of different situations.
God, yeah. So tell us a little bit about how did you get involved in this journey? Because I got the feeling that because you were an accountant, right? Completely different field, and then you became personally passionate about this, and I know you're passionate about this. How did you make that journey? You were an accountant, going about your own life. Then I think you went on a course, and then you ended up running an organisation. Tell us a little bit in a nutshell about how all that happened.
It really was on my own practitioner course. I was asked to be the demo in one of the topics
so
that we
guinea
were demonstrating.
pig.
Guinea pig, yeah. I'm a good guinea pig. And I had to share my vision, which was all about, I had this vision about wanting to create something where like-minded people could come and share their experiences, but also from that be able to then go out and from that place of safety go out and be able to then practice, because if they could go out and practice, then something as good as NLP could be spread more widely than I could spread it on my own. You know, there's only one little me, but if there were 400, 500, 1,000, 5,000 people all doing good work in NLP and people recognise that good work, then they would be, you know, helping 5,000 more people than I could help.
Wow, and that's a huge vision, isn't it? So how did it happen? Because lots of people have got huge goals and so on, and I think it's quite ironic, isn't it? Because NLP and lots of these things are about people's goals. How did then that jump between being on that course, training as a practitioner, having that vision of what you want to do, and actually doing that? You're running an organisation that's all about helping strengthen the profession presumably and spread the word and help people. How did that happen? How did it come about that then you're running this organisation and doing what you're doing? What happened in that?
Well, my trainer was involved with the old association, and they were struggling financially, and so she contacted me 4 or 5 years after my practitioner course to say, was I still pursuing my dream? And I was, but in a very different way, and I hadn't got there yet. And so she said, you know, this opportunity has come up. The association is potentially going to go under, and if it does, the members will all be liable for the debt. So basically...
So you decided to take this on?
I just thought I'd take it on.
Handy that you were an accountant.
Didn't look at the figures too closely.
And then you decided to... So how has that been? I mean, tell us a little bit about the organisation now. Tell us a little bit about what is it you do, who is it that you're there to help, and what are the kind of things you get up to? Because I know you produce this wonderful magazine for professionals, but tell us a little bit about what's the association all about, and what's it you do?
Well, I mean, really, we're a social enterprise, and we're there, I think we have two audiences. We're very much there to serve the public. That, I think, is our... because the public are our potential clients. The public are the potential clients of our members. But they are the ones that need that sort of safety net. You know, in this day and age, especially with the internet and everything like that nowadays, anybody can set up a website about anything, make it look very professional. You know, we hear about these scams all the time, and so what we offer is a safety net to members of the public looking for support and looking for help, NLP may be an option for them. And what we're saying is, yes, NLP is an option for you, and if you choose one of our members, you have that added benefit of understanding that we've checked their qualifications, so we know that they are qualified, and we know that we have a code of ethics that they sign up to. We have a complaints process that they can go through should anything go wrong. It very rarely does, and it very rarely does because we have professionals as our members.
Right, and then tell us a little bit about that professional side. So for the professionals, why do they join? What are they after? And presumably it's a relatively new profession. They're wanting to do what you were wanting to do, help people, presumably. Tell us a little bit what's about the association about for your members.
Well, for the members, I mean, again, it's the same sort of thing really, because through them being able to demonstrate their membership of ANLP, they're able to show their clients that they are practicing in a responsible way. We have sort of 4 main values. We call them our epic values, which is about the ethics, the professionalism. They work with integrity, and they're credible. And that's what we can give them. Is we can offer them, basically they're joining with us and saying, look, these are the values that I hold, and this is the association I belong to that has the same values, and therefore I can demonstrate that, my ethics and my professionalism by being part of a larger organisation.
Fantastic. And there's a couple of things I want to touch on before we close. I mean, one is that, what are the kind of things typically that somebody would go for NLP for? It sounds like there's a range of things. Some people, it seems to be one of those ways to help somebody become more confident or more clear, or to be far more effective and so on. It seems to be lots of people go on it from a training point of view for helping them with sales and influencing skills and so on. I know that you've got a broader view than that, and tell me a little bit about what kind of things are people drawn to NLP for, and what kind of areas can it typically help people with?
Well, it can help in all sorts of different ways. I think my passion lies with empowering people, but certainly especially through the education system. I think NLP can empower teachers to get better results from their pupils, and not just better results, better behaviour in the classroom. If they understand how to use the language more effectively with their younger students, the primary school children, then that's going to have an effect on everything in the classroom, which of course is going to have a bigger knock-on effect. And of course by the time they get to secondary school age, they can be using some of these strategies themselves as students. So when they're approaching interviews, potential job interviews, or confidence for exams and that sort of thing, all of those things can be helped by areas of NLP and strategies that they can employ just to give themselves a better chance, really.
Got you.
That's what it's about.
When you were saying something interesting earlier, you were talking about how actually lots of these kind of skills and techniques are often used in many places. For example, we just had recently the Olympics, and lots of visualization techniques and so on. They're all part of the toolkit that you're talking about, and those
Absolutely.
kind of things.
All the mental rehearsal, visualization, these are all things that the NLP, they're some of the strategies that the NLP employs, just some, a small part of the number of strategies that NLP can employ to teach you how to make the best of any given situation. So we're talking about how can you use NLP. There's so many ways it can help. There are presentation skills, confidence building. Yes, it can be used, sales and that sort of thing. But there's health benefits. You have to, anywhere really where you have to communicate with people, which actually, where do we not communicate?
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. And before we close, I mean, you started off by telling us a little bit about the dream. You started off, you were running your own, doing your own thing. You went on a course. You're here running this particular organisation. Tell me a little bit about what's the big dream now? Bearing in mind the first dream has already been achieved. What's the dream now in terms of for the profession and for the public? Because I know there's something you're passionate about, and you've talked a little bit about it already in terms of education. What's the vision from now?
Well, my vision, I mean, the reason that I do what I do is because I think NLP has so much to offer that if we could get NLP into the education system, if we can get it accepted by the health service, into business, then it can make such a big difference to people. And so I think that's why I do what I do, because I think part of the way we can get that to happen is by making the field a more professional one, giving it that credibility, underpinning it with some research, all those sorts of things, so that actually people will will trust us as a solution.
And presumably that's where things also like the magazine come in, to inform people who are interested, practitioners, have that best practice information, and for members of the public who are interested in that.
Yeah, we have the magazine. I mean, the magazine is split into 3 sections, and one of those sections is about best practice for professionals.
Yeah.
There's a section all about practical applications of NLP, which are wide-ranging, as we say.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely wonderful. Wishing you all the best with that amazing work. And for people who are either a member of the public who's been listening to this and think, actually that's quite interesting, I'd like to find out more, I might even be interested in finding a practitioner, or for a professional who's looking to join the body, can you give us the web address for people who are trying to track down?
Yeah, it's www.anlp.org.
Wonderful. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to thank you. I'm going to leave you to just smile. And thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.